Hello captains, welcome back to another video. My name is Adam and this is the next video in the series where I basically reboot my simulator. So I've basically wiped everything off and I'm slowly integrating everything back in. And the last video we put in the Rex Airports HD add-on, and we got to see, we went to Chester, we went to Cardiff, and we got to see the difference that the add-on makes to the default textures in the simulator. And we hadn't yet put in any terrain textures, which is what we've done now. And I'm going to explain the Orbx update because it's been a significant update to the simulator. So before we go into it, I'll explain a little bit more about it. So future updates coming up. We've still got the sky, the weather system to put in. We've still got the trees to add in. We've still got sort of a bit more specific local textures like mega scenery and the different states of America to add in. And then I've got some very free and specific things to add in, like some Hawaiian islands, some Channel Islands, and some Africa textures from for the sim, and we can go and check that out, as well as some Canada textures, Miami City, New York City, Las Vegas, and Antarctica, and we can just slowly update these, plus a whole host of airports, including DFW, which I can't wait to see how that's changed the sim later. So my original plan for the sort of next update was to say it was Orbx, and the way I was going to do it was I was just going to put in Orbx Global and see how that changed, or just put in Orbx Vector and see how that changed. But the way Orbx do their add-ons, as everybody knows who uses them, is you use FTX Central 3. So I'll just load that up and show you. It means it's an all or nothing kind of state. So here's everything I have loaded in, and I couldn't specify, because of the way I've loaded it in, I couldn't specify how it gets loaded in. And if I did, I'd be taking a big chance with the sim, and I'll explain why. I have the Orbx scenery on another drive, and then I use this program here called Junction Magic Link or something like that. There you go. It sits on my D drive, and I link it to my simulator drive, and it's popped in the sim automatically, and it just means that all the files don't have to sit on the same hard drive as my simulator. They sit somewhere else, and then they just get transported in. Now it does mean there's a couple of extra minutes load time, and when I was booting this up, it was a 5-minute wait, but that's not going to be a 5-minute wait next time. It was just because it was the first time, because it had to load everything into the scenery database, into the scenery library, sorry. So everything's now loaded in, and as I say, I had to do it all in one go or none at all. The only other way I could have done this was to basically remove from the hard drive certain files. Okay. Now, I mean, what I could do is I could just uncheck a lot of these, and we could do it one at a time as well, and just sort of see how it has changed, or how this one has changed. That's another way, but you can see here there's absolutely a lot of Orbx stuff, because I've pretty much got everything. So it's like, you know what, Orbx for me is an update on its own. So rather than just doing it step by step, which if you guys want to see that, I will gladly make a video of that, okay? And we can see what Orbx Global on its own does, and then Orbx Global and Vector does, and then the land class, If you guys want to see that, leave me a comment in the box, and I will go back and I will do that video for you. But for now, it's all in there. So we are now going to make sure everything is assigned correctly, because we've had a few issues with that in the past. And we are going to, it looks like it's all okay. Right, we're going to head into the sim. Now I've loaded up Cardiff because that was the last one we did where it was the default textures. Now I've got Cardiff add-on from FTX from Orbx, so it should be quite fun to see the difference between the Rex Airports HD, the way it's handled that, which to be honest it looked pretty good, and the way Orbx handles it. Maybe I'll need to disable Orbx if I feel that the Rex one is better, because the Rex one is a more recent add-on, whereas the Orbx one, I bought that last year, so who knows. I'm always striving for photorealism. I'm always striving for it to look like it does in the real world, for the planes to handle like they do in the real world. I use P3D because I prefer that platform. But I want to immerse myself in the simulator, and so that's all the add-ons I add are just to enhance my my simulator. And this is my personal preference. This is my personal choice. And I think looking back over the comments I've had over the past few weeks, there's a lot of people out there who are very outspoken and very rude about how they think things should be done, you know. And you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That is absolutely fine. But you know, if I disagree, I disagree. Just like when you disagree, you disagree. I ain't gonna moan at you for disagreeing, though. That's fine. That's your opinion. Thank you for giving me your opinion. I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate that comment. But that's it, really. There's been a lot of negativity flying around, to be honest. I gotta say. But you know, people like what they like at the end of the day, and if I suppose if they're used to something somewhere else and they don't get it from another place, they don't like it. But anyway, I've had a few people in the video comments have a little bit of a moan and a bit of a dig at the way I've done things, but that's fine. That's their choice. I am not in this. Like, I'm not creating this simulator for anybody else but myself. So if nobody likes it, that's still fine because I like it. So that's the most important thing, is that we all get our enjoyment from our simulators. And you know, this is another thing. I'm not into sharing my my configs. I'm not into sharing my P3D files. And it's not because I'm greedy, and it's not because it's like, no, you're not having them. It's because, like, how many people have actually got my exact same setup? You know, the way the config file structures work is, you know, it builds it based on your machine. It builds it based on what you do in your own sim. And if you're putting somebody else's details into your sim, surely that's going to mess it up. Surely that's going to cause conflicts if you haven't got the exact same. Like, if you're using a slider setting that your machine can't handle, well, it's going to mess it up, you know. So I don't hand out my config files because I don't know how many people have got my exact same setup. If they did, I'd gladly hand them over. If somebody said send me your P3D config, I'd be like, okay, fine, if you want it. But you know, is it going to break your sim? Don't blame me if it does. So that's why I haven't uploaded or shared my P3D files with the public, just because that's not who I am. I'm not that type of person to, like, I'm willing to share, not a problem. I am a sharing person, but I feel that these config files when they're generated as you go along in your sim. Because I remember when we first booted up the P3D program, I looked at the config file and it was blank. There was nothing in there because I hadn't started the program yet. I hadn't started moving my sliders. I hadn't started setting anything, and it was just a blank file. And then when I started messing with the settings, when I started loading up things, it then generated it specific to what I had done in my simulator based on what my hardware could take. And I don't want to be responsible for breaking anybody's machines or people using the config files and going, "You screwed up my machine, dude." Well, the config file is specific to my machine, so there we go. Because there's so many different configurations in the flight sim world. You know, it's like one person. You know, you've got like Mr. A. He could be using P3D version 4.3 on its own, bare bones as it is, without any add-ons, and be enjoying his experience. And then you could have Mr. B, who puts in every single add-on he can get his hands on, and he's got like the best looking simulator, and you know, and then if his machine can't handle it, it's slow or laggy or something, I don't know. There's just so many different things, and you know, I've put in the things that I enjoy. I put in the things that I want. So and with my settings, with my machine, with my add-ons, if there is anything anybody would like to see in a video, I'm more than happy to make a video of a certain flight plan or of a certain route. If nobody wants it, then that's fine. Once I add in everything, I won't be making any more videos, I guess. These videos are in the beginning, they were kind of like, for me, I wanted to see the progression of what the simulator looked like, and then I thought, well, I'm going to share this with the world and see if anybody else will enjoy it. And I've had a few people respond well to it, a few people respond not so well to it, but I think it's benefited a few people as well to see what things look like bare bones. And I've come across a few stumbling blocks making these videos that has helped me, and that I didn't know before. And I'm learning all the time myself. I'm not no guru, by the way. I'm not a developer. I'm not a flight sim expert. I just know what I know and fly where I like to fly. So anyway, that's that really. The reason this is loading very slowly, by the way, is it's the first time I've put in Orbx, and it's putting Orbx in all at once, by the way. It's putting in the global airports, the global land classes, the worlds, the regions, all at the same time. So it's a lengthy, you know, but this next time it won't happen this long. It won't take this long to load up. It's a first time shot, because once it's loaded in, it's fine. But I do think P3D 4.3 deletes the cache on exit, which means it probably will take this long length of time again, because it loads it fresh in every time, which is fine. I don't mind that, because I can be doing something else while this is loading, and then as long as, you know, it's then stable once I'm in, I have no problem with it loading like a bag of crap, really. So there we go, we loaded in, and it seems we are good to go. So here is Cardiff. So let's just have a quick look to see at what we got. Lights are kicking off again. So this is Orbx Airport, which I can already see is different than the Rex HD add-on. Let's just have a quick zoom in, and I can already see, look, there's a Thompson plane there. There was only 2 planes here last time, one that looked like that, and then another one that I cannot see. I think it was that one there. But look, we've got 747 now. We've got a Flybe -8. There's one over there. This airport looks pretty cool, actually. The textures look very real, photo real. A couple of glitchy looks there, but I think that's because I'm zooming in so much. Oh, hello. There's a few workers here. Look at them. There we are. Look at this. Not enough fag break out, boys. I don't know what there's a bit of a standoff here between these two. He's working hard. At least somebody is. Some more people over here. They're all just chatting, really. They're all just hanging around chatting. That's a bit okay. So yeah, I can I can definitely see an update to Cardiff. So let's take off and let's see what Orbx has done to our land. So take off the brakes, rev up the engine. Let's get this mother in the air. Runway textures look like they did before with the Rex Airports HD runway textures. Not much else I can see in terms of an update as we're zooming down here, but definitely at the airport, yeah, big update to the airport. Looks really good as well. Flaps up. Okay, so now that we're in the air, I can definitely tell the difference here with textures on the ground here, with the grass, and it looks darker green, the land going off into the distance. Let's make sure we're not overpowering this puppy. Oh, hello, here we go, little factory over here that wasn't there before. This looks a lot better. Look at that over there, that looks like proper English countryside as opposed to generic tiles that were slapped together. Let's head out into our sim here, look at that. That looks a lot better. Roads now put in. This all looks very nice. That looks a lot different. I can definitely see the difference in the sim. Post lines there with the vectoring tool and the roads. Another airport down there, and it fits in perfectly. It doesn't stand out. And it's got the mesh here that fits in nicely as well. It's covered that ugliness that was there before. It looks really good. I've got to say. There's a mast over here. I mean that looks 100% better than it did before. 100%. You know. Now we're using Orbx trees HD. I haven't introduced Terraflora trees yet, which takes the Orbx trees and takes their models and puts in its own textures. So let's see what our frames are doing. So we're averaging 30 frames or 28 frames, which is still good. It's still flyable for me. The scenery is gorgeous. The scenery is just like it is in Wales. That looks like, I don't know if it looks like Cardiff because I've never been to Cardiff, but it does remind me of Wales. I've lived there. My gosh, airport should be coming around soon. There's the airport. Let's do a low fly pass over. Gosh, look at all that there, down there. That looks gorgeous. Yes, definitely a massive update to the sim. I can't get over the difference that Orbx does make. It is pretty outstanding compared to what we flew before. Even their airport is outstanding. The Rex airport, you got all this stuff here now.
Flaps.
I'm not using flaps, love. Oh hello, there's an airplane there doing a bit of a hijinks thing. So yeah, you got a lot of models being used here with the airports. You got a lot of different
Caution, taxiway. Caution, taxiway.
a lot of different airplanes, cars there in the car park. Yeah, looking really good. Oh hello, there's a bridge down there. Should we try and fly in between it? I don't know how wide this bridge is, but I don't think we're going to get to actually fly in between that. That looks pretty narrow. Yeah, we're not going to get in between that, are we? Oh hello, a few houses floating up in the air there. So yeah, it does really a good job here of adding stuff in. House down there. The mesh really does fit in well. It's all looking very good, yes. So I think what we'll do is we'll land this puppy now. I think we'll land at the other airport because I don't think that's been included in Orbx, so that might still have the Rex HD airports, and then we'll head over to Chester. So that runway there will do me very nicely. Gosh, look at all that there. That looks ace. That looks amazing. Orbx is a very clear choice for an adult. Just by what I see here. But I can't wait to go see what. Actually, yes, we can just see what Orbx Global on its own will look like, because when I go to DFW, the only thing that Orbx has changed there is the global and the vector, and that's it. So we will be able to see what it does for that sort of stuff. Right, so here we go. Let's get this sucker on the ground. Cool. Anybody who is thinking about Orbx, it's a no-brainer. Anybody who says Orbx isn't very good, well, you're crazy, because I mean, the proof here is in the pudding. Definitely see a difference here with Orbx. Right, going a bit too high. Let's go down a bit more. Don't want to stall this thing. Very good, very good. Yeah, it's looking very nice. Look at that. Now the reason it looks as green as it does as well is a bit high here. Is because of the shaders that I've used as well on top of Orbx. So, you know, I've got PTA Assistant and Tomato Shade shaders, as well as the Ultimate Realism pack, and that's what helps, because I really think it would look different. The Orbx scenery, it wouldn't look as green as this without them shaders. Also, there are settings for HDR that I've put in as well, and I think that has also helped. Okay, here we go. We're coming in now on final. Let's do last stage of flaps and land this puppy. Right in the money here, dude. Why are you saying I'm still too high for it? Gosh. I think I'm right on the money. Right, look at them houses there. That's so distracting to a pilot, I would imagine. Here we go, and we're down, and that's that. So yeah, I can't really see if there are any. Let's get off the runway here. Come to a stop, and then that's Cardiff, everybody. Right, let's head off to Chester now, because that was another airport that should still look the same in terms of the airport itself, but the surrounding countryside is going to look a lot different. Harden. There it is. Now I'm going to change the time, or maybe not. I was going to change the time to 9 o'clock and then just always fly 9 o'clock, but whatever. So I guess we'll always be flying at 8:45 then. And that's the time it is now here in the UK. Got a full day of flying ahead of me, and gonna get through a few. I think by the end of the day we're gonna have at least half of my add-ons put in, because the way I do these videos is, I mean, I've got like a few days off from my work, what I do, so I'm basically just using that to redo my sim, and then making these videos in between, and then I'm uploading them on the night time, and then every week I'm publishing them on YouTube, and enjoying myself doing it, seeing the difference that each add-on makes. Now at the moment we're only in a C152, and I'm collecting all the flight plan recommendations that everyone is saying. I'm making a list, I'm checking it twice, and those who are nice, I'll be flying that route live, and I might even do a YouTube live if I can get it worked out. I don't know. I haven't got a webcam, so I have to basically capture my screen and record it that way, and I'll be recording it the way I do it now, which is with my headset, with my microphone. The microphone's not the best. It's literally like a pilot's or gamer's headset with the mic attached to it. So the microphone isn't the best. And I know in the early videos there's interference really with something, but they've been ironed out. So hey ho. So yeah, I think so far the best update, apart from Orbx now, has been FS Global Ultimate. That really changed the sim from flat to mountainous, to gave it a shape, gave it a really different look, I feel. Subtly though, not in your face, just subtle. Now we didn't go flying the Rockies. I had planned to go fly the Rocky Mountains and the Alps, but I really didn't have enough time, and I wanted to fly Australia before inputting Orbx. Again, time, but we did fly Africa, so Africa could be another one. In fact, I think the Orbx videos I might do in 2 parts. So we'll fly Chester now, because this is just taking quite a long time to load in. We'll do Chester now, I'll stop the video, and then we'll do DFW and Grand Canyon, and Africa and Hawaii afterwards. So maybe even 3 videos for the Orbx update. The next sort of thing I'll be putting in is Active Sky, and then I'll put in Rex Sky Force and Rex Environment and the Terraflora trees, and I have also then got a few more specific add-ons like Hawaiian Islands, the Channel Islands, and Africa, the continent, and Canada. And somewhere I need to fit in a Canadian run as well. We'll have to head up to Yellowknife or something like that, to the home of Buffalo Airways, because I've got a Canada add-on that is supposed to really update Canada in terms of its look. Obviously, Orbx Global would be sorting out, and Orbx Vector would be sorting out some things up there, but it there is no land class for Canada with Orbx. They've only gone as far as Alaska and the Northern American states. They have kind of left Canada alone, um, except for Orbx Global and Orbx Vector. Um, there's no regions and there's no land class for Canada, which is a bit weird. They have got lots of freeware airports though, so maybe all them airports combined cover that area. I don't know, but anyway, I thought I'd try. I've got, I think it's called UTX. Yeah, UTX Canada. So that should be interesting. Um, so that's future updates, future videos. So yeah, this one's definitely going to be one of three. This video. So I guess while we've got time here before it loads in completely, um, obviously loading in every Orbx add-on, even the ones that you're not flying, it means that it takes a long time to load your sim up. So that's a personal choice I guess people would have to make for themselves, you know. But whilst we got this time, I'm just going to go through the add-ons, sort of the reason why I purchased maybe, or you know, if anybody's got like, that looks good. Should I buy that? I don't know. If anybody's decided like on the fence, this is maybe this will help you. So the airplane, the C152, the Just Flight. I don't know of any other developer that's done a C152. I don't even know if A2A have got a C152. But the Just Flight model for me is really good. It's modeled. I mean, I've flown a C152 when I was younger, and it looks exactly like it did when I flew it. The textures are really, I think, nice, really detailed. The textures on the model outside are fantastic, and I like there's like a level of grime and dirt that they've added that really enhance the model. So for me, the plane is definitely one to get. And if you're using FSX, you're probably not watching this video, but for those of you who did use FSX, there was a C152 add-on, and the one thing that I remember is the cockpit displays were always like very pixelated, very low resolution. It probably handled just fine, but I don't think it handled as well as this. But maybe that's because I wasn't using the hardware I am now, and so that adds a level of realism. Because I think that's one thing that everybody has to decide for themselves when you're using Flight Simulator is how much level of detail or how much realism or how much immersion do I want to have in this product? Because let's face it, I've got the professional version of P3D. That cost me nearly 200 quid. But a lot of people will go for the was it the amateur license, or the academic license, sorry, which is only like 60 quid or something like that, or $50. And so therefore they won't. Well, first off, it'll always say academic in the corner, but also they won't have certain features that the professional ones use. So, and I got the professional one because I wanted to have those extra features just in case I used them, rather than be hindered. But the thing is, yeah, you end up paying more for some add-ons. Some of the add-ons that I've had to buy the professional version of P3D add-on over the academic, it's cost me an extra 20 quid. You know, so I mean, let's face it, if you can get away with doing the academic, do it, because the majority of the time you're just going to be using it for what it is. I don't know if there's enhanced realism or if there's enhanced dynamic features like the airplane handling and stuff like that, but yeah, the C152, I really like flying it, and I can't wait to fly my other planes like the BAC-111. I can't wait to learn the 737 and the 747. I got the CRJ. I've got a whole list. I've got military, general aviation, airliners, the heavies, Airbus. I've got a lot, and I can't wait to go through each one and have a flight on each one. In future videos, if people want to see it. If they don't want to see it, I won't be doing it. But FS Global Ultimate, that's an add-on definitely worth getting, you know. Also, you know what, guys, I'm gonna put a link in the description below to, if you want to fast forward all this, if you just want to zip straight to the flight thing, because obviously this is just now getting a bit, you know, silly. So I'll put a link in for those of you who don't want to hear me gassing on to say skip to this part just to get to the video. But yeah, FS Global Ultimate is definitely an add-on worth getting, because, or at least updating your mesh, I would say. Like, I've read up on this free Mesh X add-on, and I've read up on FS Global Ultimate add-on, and what it seems is that there's about 2 or 3 different sources of data where they get their data from, and some of it is proper detailed and some of it isn't proper detailed, and some of it is not proper detailed but then it's artificially enhanced to be properly detailed, but it isn't. So from what I understand, FS Global search the best resolutions from all the sources and combine them into one, and that's what FS Global Ultimate Next Generation is all about. Whereas Fresh Mesh X or Free Mesh X, whatever it's called, they source it from one source, and it's 38 meters per pixel, which means your level of detail is only going to be so much. FS Global Ultimate in some areas goes up to 1 meter per pixel, which is a higher resolution than Free Mesh X. So for me, where I'm going to be putting my money, oh hello, now that's better. That's what it looks like with the cars, and there's the roundabout there. Oh my gosh, that looks exactly like it does.
5.
So for my money, yeah, I'm going to be using the one that has the highest resolution, which is FS Global Ultimate, and I recommend anybody getting it. Let's go fly him. Stargazer is an add-on. I would say it's worth getting, just because it adds that level of realism in the sky, you know, that you don't usually get. This looks a little different as well now. This looks different. I wonder if the airport has had a little update. I don't remember seeing all them cars, that's all. Flaps up. Okay. So we are going off in the wrong direction. I know, so yeah, there's, oh my gosh. See all them stacks over there? That's the, like a sewage factory. That's off in the distance. Which means down here is that Chops Away cafe that we've just passed. Let's turn around. I can already tell that there's a massive difference to the landscape. Oh my gosh, it looks exactly like Chester here. Let's turn around and head over the other way, and there should be a roundabout at the end of the runway, and I do believe I saw it when we were on the runway. So let's just follow the runway back up here. See, now this looks exactly like it does in real life. This has had an update. They've changed a little bit of this. So the end of this runway should be an island, which is right there. There it is. And if we follow, I believe it's, if we go over here, Broughton Retail Park is over here. Now I don't think it'll be modelled in the sim, but which, yeah, I can't really see any massive car park. It is a big car park, but obviously that's not been modelled at all. But that thing has there is a tower building over here, which it kind of looks like the space shuttle launch pad tower. Every time I drove past it, I would just pretend like there's a space shuttle attached to it, and I'm not sure what it is, to be honest, what building or what factory it is, but that's it dead ahead, and that's now been put in the sim. The land looks a lot better. The land I can actually navigate by memory now, which I couldn't before in the default setting. I can do VFR flying now for real because of Orbx. It looks like they've inputted, you know, a VFR scenery, you know. But yeah, that's that. I can't believe that's been put in. That's amazing. That is. Gosh. My life. Right, let's get back to the airport. I know my flying isn't exactly the best, but I'm only trying to get there as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. I know a turn like this probably would be not allowed, but so basically what I've been doing in the description, for those of you who have been reading it, I have been updating slowly in the description what I put in to everything. So when I've added it, that's when I've written it in the description as well. So check out the description if you want to see what add-ons are in this. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. This is going to be another dicey landing.
Too high, too high.
Tell me about it, love. Tell me about it. That building, I say, that building you could land definitely. Way too high is the term you wanted to use there.
Approaching. 0, 5. Unstable.
Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence. You're a bit sorry, Kirian. I mean, she's right, but, you know, let's have the rest of the flaps put in. And we'll just gently drop her. Onto the ground. Don't tell me I'm too low. I'm right on the money, I am. Bit of a landing there. Right, let's see if we can. This airport looks definitely. I can see planes now. Runway markings are much better. We've missed our exit point, but it's okay because we want to go check out the chocks away. There we go. It's rocking and rolling again. Gosh, this is exactly what the Airbus factory looks like. Now, they haven't added in the beluga. Sometimes the beluga is sticking out of the factory hangars on the other side, but they haven't put that in for some reason. But yeah, over here is the chocks away, and I wonder if actually it's been put in. I tell you, this sim is looking a lot better now than what the default stuff was. In fact, let's just end this here, and we'll go over to the Florida, which has kind of been our default um, scenery. Or should we do Birmingham first because it's England? Yeah, we'll do Birmingham first, just because we're in England and the English stuff is already loaded. So 8:30. So let's see what Birmingham looks like. Again, if you want to skip ahead, I'll put in, you know, the description of where we go and the timestamp, so you can just zip to it. But Stargazer, definitely worth, I would say, worth a look. It definitely adds that level of realism to your sim, because when you look up at the night sky, you definitely know you're looking at the right stars, and if you navigate at all by the stars, you can totally do that. It's totally possible. So for me, Stargazer is great, and plus, it doesn't take away from your frames. There's no hit on the frames whatsoever. So it's like, you might as well, you know? PTA Assistant, and I use the Ultimate Realism pack as well as Tomato shaders. It's a personal preference, really. It's not an essential purchase, I would say. It's more of a personal preference. Do you want a certain look to your sim? I'm always striving for photorealism, so I want it to look photorealistic. So the shaders I've selected to use in my sim are the ones that I like for the goal that I'm trying to achieve. The FS to crew callouts, RAAS, is a personal choice again. They're kind of a little annoying sometimes when you're in a small aircraft and you're in a small field. It's not necessary. But when I get up to the big stuff, it's then going to become more immersive. And sometimes the airplanes don't come with this software. I know the CRJ has it built into it, but some of them don't, and you know, it's going to add a level of realism for me, you know, when I'm hearing 20, 10, retard, and all that, you know, call outs. Rex Airports HD, you know what? That for me is an essential. If you don't buy any airport add-ons, you only need to get Rex Airports HD, and all your airports, all the default ones will look the same in terms of what they look like, the textures, but it will just up the level for your default world. It'll look like paid wear airports. I mean, I always recommend getting airports, but the thing you got to consider is you do take a hit on frames. It does take a real big hit on frames. So if you haven't got a machine that's good or fast or powerful, then airports are probably not the way to go, but Rex Airports HD are. It's the same with Orbx, really. If your machine can handle it, you might as well do it. Orbx adds such value to your world, in terms of realism, in terms of immersion, that you don't get when you don't use it. Just flying the 2 flights we've done so far, I can definitely say that, yeah, without a doubt, that was money well spent. I think I probably have spent about £2 on Orbx so far, over the past couple of years, and I definitely do not regret one single bit of any of that. I haven't flown all the areas that I've got. I've got a lot. I've got all their regions really, and all their areas, even the True Earth one, and I haven't flown in all of them yet. So I haven't actually taken full advantage. This is more of a life term thing. So as long as they don't do anything silly like suddenly revoke access or change and update to where I then need to repurchase stuff in order to keep using it, then I've got a lifetime of flying ahead of me that I'm going to enjoy. So for me, that was the no-brainer. And that's really everything we've put in so far, to get it looking this way. If you go back to watch the first very video, which was episode or video 1, everything was defaults. The settings, the scenery, even the plane. We used the jet plane, the military aircraft. I think it's the F-16 or F-22. We used that, and yeah, it's changed a lot. Changed a lot. And we've lost a lot of frames. Now, as it's been updated, some of the sliders maybe need to be tweaked to kind of maintain that 30 to 40, 50 frames per second goal. Like, but for me, as long as it is a steady 25, as long as it doesn't go below 25 for extended periods of time, I'm happy, because 25 frames a second is my goal, is the one that I want to achieve. For me, that's good enough. I'm not looking to get 100 frames a second or 60 frames a second in the sim. You know, I'm recording at 60 frames a second, so what you're watching is 60 frames. But I'm not needing that 60 frames in the sim. So right, I'm just gonna say nothing now until it loads. So if you want to come back, I'll say I'll put the timestamp in, and or you can just wait now, watch the loading, the auto-generated scenery blue slider, and I'll return when it's fully loaded. I'm just going to drink my coffee. So, welcome back everyone. We are in Birmingham, and this is the final airport that we're going to be looking at in this video, and then it'll go to part 2.
On runway 3.
And oh, hello. Brakes. I think we've lost something here in the controls. Oh no, we haven't. Okay, weird. Yeah, we are going to. This is the final checkout. This is Birmingham Airport, so therefore it's probably just got the Rex Airports HD add-ons, which yes, I can see there it has. I don't have, I haven't installed UK 2000 Birmingham Airport yet, so, but I will do in the future, and that's why we're making this video bit here, just to see what it looks like. That's it, flaps up. And, you know, yeah, it's looking okay. There has been a slight change. There's a lot more buildings now. Frames haven't taken a hit, but there is a lot more buildings lying around here. The terrain texture looks different down here. There's a little square from the past. Oh, there's a golf course. It looks a lot different texturally. I can't even see, maybe that's been used from the old one, but I can't really see any part of where the old one has been put in. This pretty much looks like Birmingham, really. Let's do a fly around here. Oops, a bit windier here in Birmingham. So let's just turn around, do a flyby of the airport. So there is Birmingham Airport with its runway and a golf course to the side of the runway. That's interesting. And let's fly over the terminals and check it out, because when we come back to this one, we're going to have UK 2000's airport here. It's going to change quite significantly. So it looks like there's a few planes down there, or a couple of planes, sorry. The terminals, I'm guessing the gates are from Rex HD. Some power lines that we don't want to hit here. Oh, okay, no, that's right. Yep, there's the gates there. Go over to the other side. Runway 33. Check out the tower. Let's buzz the tower, baby. Requested a flyby of the tower. It's time. Oh, hello. Oh, they don't like you buzzing the tower. A little sticky there. Boom. Lovely. Yeah, cars there off to the left. Some buildings. And the scenery. So yeah, it's all looks pretty cool. So, whoa, hello. Whoa, hello. Bit of a stall. There's the roads. We'll do one final flyover and then that's it. So let's have a look at these gates now. Gates there with the markings on the ground, a couple of trucks and that. There we go. Right. Frames have been steady at between 28 to 30, so we're still within range for me. Yeah. this is Birmingham. Now I'm going to cut the video here, and when I return, we'll have loaded up our Florida usual sort of airport, and we'll be on the runway there. So I think it was called Eglin. So I'll load that up now. I'll cut the video, and in part 2 we will be in Florida, and we'll also check out DFW, and then I'll do a third one where we check out Hawaii and Africa. Okay, so thanks for watching this one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.